Immigration cannot approve your application. They need more proof. Yes, today we're talking about the RFE, also known as the request for evidence. Now, did you receive an RFE letter from USCIS? You're probably thinking exactly, what should I do? You feel overwhelmed. Is this quite stressful? But before we get about this, don't forget to follow this page, obviously. That way you won't forget and you won't miss any immigration update and news. Now that it's done, let's get back to it. What is an RFE? Like I told you before, it stands for Request for Evidence. This is basically USCIS sending you a letter, following an application that you submitted with the service, asking you for additional evidence. Now let's see exactly what does it consist of and how do you actually move forward as far as the RFE. Now, when you receive the letter, it is a lot of important information in there, but this is how it is structured. You will see, obviously, there is a date, and the date of the letter is extremely important, and you will see why at the end. Then you will see at the beginning, obviously, you will have the introduction. Then they will tell you exactly when did you submit the application with the service, and telling you, obviously, that they need additional evidence. And after they do that, you will have a passage actually citing the law, telling you what is the statute actually that allow them to ask you exactly what they're asking you, why you're supposed to submit this document in order for you to be eligible, right? Meaning that they have to submit that statute, that particular passage of the law. Now, then obviously, once you read that part, then there will be the fact, right? Explaining exactly how, based on the fact, this is what you submitted before, right? Because you did submit some evidence with your original application, but this is why they cannot approve your application yet. And they will be actually telling you these are the documents, the type of evidence that they need you to send to their offices, meaning that's pretty straightforward, right? And then obviously, and after that, they will explain to you that you have this amount of days, and that's what I was telling you, that you have to be careful. The date of the letter is extremely important, because they will tell you exactly when the application, the RFE letter, and the evidence has to be returned. Basically you have to reply to this letter, and you will have also a mention to tell you that if you don't actually reply on time, then there is no extension. And this is extremely important, because sometimes people will wait, like we have seen people coming to our office really literally a few days before the expiration, obviously the date when the answer was supposed to be received, not sent. That's also very important. And that will not work, because you won't have an extension. There is no way you're going to have an extension. But obviously, once you have that, now what do you do? Now, once you have the letter, you understand exactly what is expected from you. Then what you have to do is to start gathering evidence, right? You need to gather the evidence that will bolster your case. Because look at the RFE letter as basically like a last chance for you to convince the officer to approve your application, meaning that you need to gather the evidence. If you don't have all the evidence, because sometimes you don't, right? Certain documents are not in your possession, you cannot have them, then you need to have an affidavit explaining exactly why you are unable to submit this type of evidence. Maybe you can have also, for example, for some of you, we have seen cases where they will be asking the proof, obviously of birth, right? And it's in the case, for example, we had a client, we submitted his application with his birth certificate, but the birth certificate actually have been signed only a few years before. This is somebody who actually was about in his 40s, right? Meaning now USCIS wanted to have an explanation about that, right? Or either the proof that they could not have the birth certificate issue at the time of birth. Okay, now it was not possible to have the full particular reason, but affidavit from family member, you know, to attest that yes, this birth actually occurred on that particular date. You know, also, you know, whether if you're part of a church or a mosque, you know, or a synagogue, you know, meaning to have letters of the clergy, that's actual document that are very helpful, and then that you can submit actually to actually address this particular request. And that's exactly what we did. Meaning that once you have all of these documents actually in your possession, then make sure that you send it back to USCIS. I always encourage, you know, in our office, we always send it by FedEx because we want to track. You know, you don't have to do it. You could go to the post office, but you want to make sure that you track, because if your file has been lost by USCIS, that happens sometimes, it's not very often, at least that would be your proof that you did actually send the document on time, that he was received on time. But basically, that's all about RFE. I hope that's very helpful. If you have any question, don't forget, my name is Annick Koloko. I am an immigration attorney. And don't forget to follow this page, so you know you won't miss any immigration news and update. Until then, bye.